Hey, what's up everybody? 420 Guitar here, coming to you with another video. This is RECON Wildlands' new helicopter changes that just dropped with this recent update today. So if you go into your options, you're going to be able to see where it says helicopter controls. It will say new or it will say classic. It's going to be set on new as default, so if you don't want new, go in there and you can change it back to classic. At any time through your options menu, and again it will say helicopter controls. Okay, so if you're on new, one of the biggest things that you're going to see difference is going to be this marker in front of your helicopter, which is almost like a crosshair, and you will also see the speed and the altitude that you are at. Speed and altitude will be on the right hand side of the screen, and of course your crosshair thing is right in the middle to help guide you. So the differences between the controls, your right trigger is no longer gas, it's actually going up. Your left trigger will be taking you down. Your right joystick is going to be turning you in whatever direction that you want to go. Your left joystick is going to be your throttle. So let's push up for gas, down for no gas. And as you can see, the maneuverability is pretty decent, and it's very much more maneuverable. It's easy to stop on a dime, but it definitely takes the reality, the feel of the helicopters being realistic feeling. It takes it totally out of it. It feels so cheap and so fake and kind of not cool. And again, I think it is going to be good for the people that weren't very good at the helicopter. So if you weren't able to fly helicopters good in this game, or you just couldn't figure it out or whatever, you definitely will probably try to use new. It definitely is probably going to work a whole lot better for you. And as you see in this helicopter as well, it is the basic same helicopter, and as you can see, I'm just moving back and forth and it's stopping on a dime. The controls are again kind of weird. They seem so fake and out of context with the game, since the game is trying to be somewhat realistic as far as the cars driving, and used to be the helicopters and the planes. It doesn't even feel realistic like that anymore. It just kind of feels cheap. To me anyway, but it's definitely probably going to help out a lot of people. But between these helicopters, again, this Santa Muerte helicopter, it's the same thing as the black one. It's the same thing as the white one. The only difference is some of the white ones do have guns attached to them. And again, with these small helicopters, they're definitely very maneuverable, and they can stop on a dime. See, watch, if you go back and forth, stop, move, stop, move, stop. It's real easy, and again, it doesn't feel real at all. It doesn't feel realistic to me. But it's definitely going to help somebody who doesn't know how to drive the helicopter very good on classic. This new will definitely help you out, the new controls. Okay, so we've covered these small ones. Let's go ahead and go to this medical helicopter here. So the medical helicopter and all helicopters are actually going to have to ramp up by themselves and hit their RPMs before they start, and then they lift up off the ground. Once they're lifted up off the ground, you will be able to control your helicopters again. And again, these are all going to be roughly the same controls, which your right trigger will take you up in the air, the left trigger will take you down. The left joystick is your throttle, so pushing it up is going to be faster, and pushing it back down is actually going to stop you, and it stops really quick. Like I said, these new controls they don't feel realistic at all. The only thing realistic about it is them having to ramp up to the RPM. That's about it. But this one, it doesn't handle so much different, but as you can see, it definitely can still turn around very quickly, and turning is actually going to be your right joystick. So yeah, it's going to be kind of weird to get used to, but it's easy. It's easy enough. So let's go ahead and move on to these next helicopters. This is one of the small helicopters that does have the guns on it, and it does control like the rest. Again, you get in, you can't control anything until it RPMs up. Once it is, if you can see how crazy and erratic it's moving around, that's with these new controls. Again, it's kind of weird. They put it in here for people that couldn't use the helicopter. So those people that weren't good at the helicopter, they're definitely going to be enjoying this. This, as you can see, has a crosshair right in the middle of your guide. which is great for any of the helicopters that do shoot, because I know it was hard to aim. With this crosshair, it's so much easier to aim. I wish I could add this on Classic. And as you can see, I'm going to take this car out pretty quickly because of this crosshair. It's a whole lot simpler, a whole lot easier, and you'll be able to take out vehicles no sweat. As you can see, this other one here, usually it had been a tough shot to kill this truck, but not anymore. The crosshairs definitely make it so much easier to destroy people. And as you can see right here, I'll do it again. The guy just jumped in the car. Well, I'll use my crosshair since it's so much easier, and I'll just destroy him and stop him before he can even go anywhere. So it's definitely a good thing on that part. I really do wish there was a customization where I could put some of these new controls on the Classic, because again, these new controls do not feel realistic at all to me. They feel just kind of cheap and cheesy. But again, I understand that it's for the people that couldn't drive the helicopter and they couldn't get it down, so it's making it a whole lot easier for them. Okay, and so now we saved the best for last. We're in the Gunship, and as you can see, it does have the square crosshairs there, and it does have to RPM up as well before you can gain control. Just like all of the helicopters, they will have to RPM up before you can take control, and that's what they're calling in the patch notes the realistic aspects of the helicopters, because it's definitely not the controlling. The controlling feels really just cheesy and kind of too simple. It takes the realistic feel of the helicopters away from the game, which kind of sucks. Again, like I was saying, they were trying to keep the realistic feel throughout the game, especially with like the way the cars drive and how the helicopter used to fly and how the airplanes would fly. But anyway, as you can see right here, this helicopter has this square. If you get close enough, it will lock on and it will turn red. Once it turns red, you can shoot your missiles and it will home. It's homing missiles, and they will actually shoot whatever it's locked onto. But you do have to get close enough and have your square pretty close in the range in the middle, so it will actually be able to go ahead and destroy them. So once you got somebody locked on, you can just go ahead and use R1 and it will launch your missiles. And again, in these choppers, it's not going to be X anymore for shooting. It will be R1, and it's relevant to whatever console or PC that you're playing on. And again, as you can see, it's super easy to kill people now in this chopper, especially with the lock-on. So yeah, this thing, I wish I could actually put these to the Classic, but unfortunately I can't. They are stuck with the new controls, which I don't think I'm going to use these new controls because it definitely doesn't feel right to me. But it definitely is probably going to help out a whole lot of people that couldn't figure out how to play the helicopter great, which is definitely a great update for people that needed it for this helicopter. I didn't really have any trouble myself. I didn't really know a whole lot of people that did, but obviously people were complaining enough for them to change something. So there you go. That's the basics of these helicopters. It's pretty fun though. It definitely does have some good aspects to it. I see crosshairs and the lock-on. It's definitely pretty cool. So go check it out, guys. The update's already been here. You might have to download it if you haven't been on yet. So anyway, there you go, guys. It's just kind of a rundown of what's going on with these helicopters. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope it helps. Thanks for watching. Peace.